with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Glory to you, Lord. Chapter 6, verses 20 to 26. At that time, Jesus lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you shall be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep now, for you shall laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you and revile you, and spurn your name as evil, on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice in that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For so their fathers did to the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. Woe to you who are full now, for you shall be hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. Woe to you when all people speak well of you, for so their fathers did to the false prophets." The Gospel of the Lord. Dear friends in Christ Jesus, we have already dealt on the Sermon on the Mount, and this is termed as the Sermon on the Plains. And just before this, we see Luke giving summary of Jesus' ministry, how he was very successful even in the areas of Tyre and Sidon, and it was not only ministered to the Jews, also the Gentiles were part of the mission, his mission field, and how he has a crowd following him and kind of a successful ministry of Jesus. And of course, he goes to the mountain to spend time with God and takes the disciples as Moses would go with the elders to the Mount Sinai and spends time with Yahweh and comes down to meet his people. So also Jesus comes and meets people in the plains. It is actually Jesus going to the mountain is to meet God, and Jesus coming down to the plains is to meet people, and people are here waiting to meet the one who has encountered God, and here Jesus himself is God. So we have a beautiful encounter here with people, and of course he preaches a beautiful sermon on the plain, though it is more or less we have the similarity between Matthew, the Beatitudes there, and here we see a lot of difference in terms of the order. The content itself is different, and the tonality, if you see, this is much more direct. The language is much more simple and shorter as well. So Luke gives it like as Jesus would speak, words of Jesus himself, and how beautifully it has the structure is different. It's a kind of four-point structure. He gives 4 blessings congratulating people. Also, he gives 4 kind of curse or telling people how they need to be careful in certain areas, and kind of giving contrast between the 4 blessings and the 4 woes. A beautiful way to reflect here. And we see how Jesus himself is telling everyone, especially appreciating, congratulating, praising, glorifying people who are poor. If you see from the beginning, from the Old Testament, right from the start, we see poor people are the most favored ones in front of God, in his eyes. Though people might come out with lots of different interpretations saying this is only trying to justify the poverty that is here out there in the world. Yes, of course, we have to fight against poverty and try to uplift these people economically and in all the areas of life. But then, just because someone is poor, they need not go through so much of suffering, because they are the most favored in the eyes of God. The vulnerable, the poor, the marginalized are God's favorites. So we should give this message constantly to people, because already they go through so much of complex within themselves, that why they are not given so much of privileges. Of course, God is giving them A-class treatment. So the poor ones, the ones who are hungry, those who do not have food to eat, this is still a kind of a theory for many of us. It's a kind of concept for many of us. But my dear friends, people go to bed, people live their life without having anything to eat. People do go through so much of pain because they don't have anything to feed, they don't have money to buy anything to eat. So these are all reality. So people who are hungry, those who don't have anything for themselves, it's not just about eating, it's about the facilities, it's about the basics that they need to have, which they do not have. And people who are crying, my dear friends, today, though it all sounds very pathological, but the fact is the whole world has this tonality of pathos. You have lots of problems going out there. This whole pandemic is really hitting us hard. In our province itself, we, at least so far, 14 priests, Salesians have tested positive. Fortunately, by God's grace, everyone, no big harm has happened. But thing is, it is a kind of the tonality is quite bad. Everyone, all of us, personally also we know our own friends, our relatives, our family members, somewhere or other, we are all affected, and people are going through this moment of mourning, crying, pain, which is the fact. We cannot say, okay, it is not happening. It's everyone is going through this misery. And again, Jesus says, you are all blessed because you're all crying, you're all mourning. And finally also adds saying, okay, for my sake, for the gospel's sake, for the values' sake, for the truth's sake, if someone is going to persecute you, very many times people who stand for the truth, when they are persecuted, they will not be able to even open their mouth and say anything, because it's very difficult to defend truth in terms of by using words. We have to defend truth only by our actions, which simply means you have to take the pain and defend the truth, because you know it is not right, you know it is true. I have to stand for this value, I have to stand for the truth, but very difficult to articulate in this particular society, because today the evil, the lies, all these wrong kind of wrong things are dominating, where truth is taking backseat, and people who are standing for the truth, they don't even know how to defend, so they are speechless, so they stand with all this pain. So we see poor people, the ones who are hungry, people who are crying, mourning, and of course people are being persecuted for no reason. Jesus says, congratulations, my appreciations to you, be happy, you are all blessed. You are all blessed, not in the times to come, not in the future, here and now. You are all blessed. So it's not like people say, okay, it's this future, heaven, and promising something that's going to happen in the future. These are all trying to justify and give a kind of opium to the people. It's not that. It is here and now. Jesus is saying, in my kingdom, you are the ones who are going to experience this joy. Being close to me with all this, being poor, you're being hungry, and you're crying, mourning, and people are persecuting, with all this, when you're close to me, when you're going to be with me, you are going to experience joy, which only you can experience. And that is the gift of being with me. While he says, okay, the rich people who are well fed, they're rich, they're well fed, they are making merry. It's not making merry is not actually being happy. Happy is different. Joy is a very positive word. But making merry, just go have fun. Some people, their only life goal is to make fun, have fun. So you do this, and then you are not going to be persecuted, because you know how to get through, and you always get good name, and people take you to next level, going to the next level, going higher and higher in your cadre, just because you know how to scheme things and move forward. Jesus says, come on, what are you thinking? You are all inheriting curse. You think you're all doing very well. Mind you, you are not traveling the right direction. Come back. You know, the danger is when you are well fed, when you are rich, when you are going to be making merry, making fun. I mean, having fun all the time, and always getting good name because you know how to get it. He says this is going to give you a danger, put you in a dangerous zone where you will forget me, forget God, and forget the fact that you are all living in the God's presence. So you move out of God's presence, and there you find a vacuum, an emptiness, and that makes you feel so miserable. So he's already warning. So in this particular scenario, when we go through this beautiful sermon on the plain, something very heartening for all of us is this. We are all going through some bad time, maybe because of the situation today, but here and now, the joy which we need to radiate within ourselves, because we enjoy closeness with God, we should never lose it. We should never lose it, and we have to make it a point that we are in the God's presence, and we are all the ones who are chosen by God to enjoy the privileges. And of course, the first reading is a kind of, again, St. Paul talking about morality, now talking about marriage and all that. There's only one factor from there I would like to connect with today's gospel is this. Today, because of various reasons, many broken marriages, people are struggling, especially the young ones who get married. They get separated because of various reasons, some very many times not the mistake of theirs, no fault of theirs, but they go through a kind of a feeling that, what have I done? What crime have I done? What sin have I committed? Why my relationship has not taken off? Why my life has not gone in the right direction? My dear friends, this is a time you are going through pain, you are going through misery, you are going through a kind of poverty, you are going through some kind of a persecution. You know what Jesus says? Don't worry, this is not life. Your life goal is not only to get married, but I am there. I will know how to handle this. You just move forward one day at a time. Surely I will take you towards a solution. So don't worry, you are all blessed. Congratulations. My appreciations to every one of you, because I am not going to let you down. I am going to fill you with joy, that inner joy and happiness. It's a treasure. And more, I trust in God completely. We will cherish, we will enjoy this inner joy and inner happiness, which is treasure. And more we experience this, we will all say, yes, I am blessed. Not in the coming days, but here and now in the present.